then this story. This was something that was kind of out there late in the week when the Kevin Willard story about was he leaving Maryland for Villanova. Boy, this sure didn't take long. There was smoke about this. Carter Carell's had this one, among others. Buzz Williams headed to Maryland. 6-year contract, according to most of the reports, including numerous of the reports. A&M is in a free fall when it comes to keeping who they thought were the perfect hires. I like Buzz Williams, but I sent this to a couple of friends of mine that are A&M, and they were like, see ya.
Yeah, I mean,
because it was a disappointing ending to what was a promising year this year.
Yeah, I think that I mean he got them better. That's certainly what he did. They improved under Buzz Williams. But if the Maryland job just pops open and he wants to run out the door, how deeply invested was he in staying at A&M in the first place?
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, so like,
I don't know. Yeah.
And look, I'm not knocking it. Like, look, you want to go work in Maryland? Go work in Maryland. If you have the ability to go do that and go chase a job, go ahead. Do what you want to do. I do think that, yeah, most of the thing is like, well, it just clearly he kind of wanted the job. And if he came back, if Maryland was like, nah, we don't think so, it would have been different. He's got a little PJ Fleck in him, you know, like kind of being a motivational speaker, rah-rah guy, a little bit, which, you know, to each their own. I'm curious to see who A&M goes and hires and how big a swing they take. Do they try to get a mid-major guy to come in so it, you know, he's jumping into a bigger job and there would be stability? You know, where are they looking? You know, how much are they committed to the basketball program? And I would also think that even though they're probably very committed money-wise to the basketball program, when you see them spend the kind of money they did on baseball this year, and you're the basketball coach, you're going to be like, all right, I just see all it takes is Texas, you know, doing something to you for them to like get all fired up. Maybe you just want to bolt and be somewhere else, and that's fine. I'm more curious on what happens with A&M down the line.
Well, Buzz Williams off the Maryland 6-year deal. Carter Carell's, we had him on during baseball season. Look at this. If you're an A&M fan, alum, booster, donor, or all of the above, or if you're Trev Alberts, my God.
What's up? We outside. Having fun doing what I want, cause you know the sun beating down kinda like a drum. Look how I do it. Look how I do it.
Another beautiful day out there, folks, so get out there, but don't forget your sunscreen, UV and exfoliant.
I just wanna have a good time. It's all on me, pleasure's mine. The weatherman said it's the right time, so we gon' get it jumping till the night time. We gon' get it. We gon' get it. We gon' get it. We gon' get it. We outside. Yeah, I might just take a dive with it, feel alive with it, ride with it, cause I'm fly with it. Loud with the trouble, loud with the bass. No clouds in the way, smile on my face. Look how I do it. Look at me, look at me, look at me splash. Look at me, look at me, look at me splash. Look at me, look at me, look at me splash. Look at me, look at me splash.
Since late November of 2023, A&M has now had to hire a new university system chancellor, a president, an athletics director. Ross Bjork went to Ohio State. A football coach because they fired Jimbo Fisher. A baseball coach because he went to your absolute hated rival in Texas in Schlossnagel. And now they'll have to replace Buzz Williams. And that is in a matter of about 15 months.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That is a lot. I mean, I know there's some other important roles and jobs on the campus, but you can't have to fight. That's about all. That's kind of the trifecta in athletics. AD, football coach, men's basketball coach.
And the chancellor.
Well, yeah.
I mean, the whole university system, which if you're not familiar with how it works in Texas, all the big universities like Texas Tech, Texas, and A&M all have satellite campuses all over the state. Mm-hmm. It used to not be that way. And then, you know, UT Arlington and then Texas A&M Dallas, and they're all over the place. There's even a Texas A&M in Austin. Now, it's not very big, but they have a branch campus there. They're all over the place. And the president of the chancellor of the system is the whole thing. Corpus Christi, College Station, Commerce, wherever, East Texas, West Texas, North Texas, Panhandle, wherever they are. So that's a huge shift in leadership. Having to pay a football coach $76 million not to be there. Then your athletic director goes to probably one of the only bigger jobs that he could have. Ross Bjork goes to Ohio State. There's maybe, 10, 12 schools that could be a bigger job than A&M as far as money and prestige and prestige is not the right word, but like as far as like largesse of the program.
I got to say this, and I just wish they would stop worrying about and talking about how big they are and get freaking something done.
Yeah, but like that, like
they swung at big flies.
Yeah,
Jimbo did not work out. Mm-hmm. That failed. It did. I mean, it was nice for a while, a year or two maybe, and then Buzz Williams, they had some success, but here now they have to. And we said this yesterday. I don't want to get into this about Texas and A&M. You look south, east, or west of you. Women's basketball in the Final Four. The men, they did not have a great run. Rodney Cherry. How about A&M go get Chris Beard?
I've heard a lot of people say that.
I mean, it's a good way. He's already playing UT at Ole Miss. He's got a good program, what he's done there. Just a thought. I don't know, but my goodness.
I don't think that would – here's the thing. I don't think that would make Texas all that mad.
Probably not. Because you know what they do now? They're usually pretty good about focusing on other people when they're not playing well or they're not doing well. They're pretty good about that, keeping up with everybody else's business. They're in a pretty good cruise control right now, man.
Yeah. I mean, and look, they're about to have Sean Miller. You know, like that's I mean, not like I don't know who A&M's going to hire, but if you're going to try to top the Sean Miller hire, that's going to be tough, in my opinion, for the Aggies to do. And, you know, they're also like, when you talk about football schools that, you know, basketball, while they have a lot of, like, their fans, A&M and Nebraska and Iowa State are all kind of similar in that their fans are pretty engaged for most every sport. They're engaged for basketball. They had a great crowd for that game they beat Auburn this year. Great crowd. And people go out and go to sporting events, but they're a football school that said, listen, if you could beat Texas 50 years in a row and basketball would never win a game, they'd be like, well, where do I sign and, you know, how much of my blood do you need? Like that's just what they would do. And basketball coaches know that. You know, I think, you know, when you hear rumors about like a guy like Bill Self or like, you know, when Texas threw out that rumor, the Texas media threw out the rumor about Bill Self always being intrigued in Texas, like, okay, you're telling me at the end of his career, which Bill Self is pretty really much in the back end of his career, he's going to leave the basketball school for a school that likes basketball and doesn't love basketball? No.
Yeah, because with Sean Miller coming in, Texas is going to have to ante up more because there's a concern about whether or not he got the new arena, which is of course shared.
But the bottom line is that Sean Miller was at Xavier. There was a you can go and like take him, and it's a facilities upgrade, it's a money upgrade, it's all these things. Whereas, you know, you're not going to go get a guy who's been at Kansas for more than 2 decades and say like, hey, finish out at Texas. You know, that's not what you're going to do because, again...
Unless there's something that had been brewing.
Yeah, which there's not.
Which is not. No,
so
except
like,
the fact the fans are pissed off at him.
Yeah, I mean, they're moderate. Like, they still don't want him to leave. They just want him to do it better than he has the last 2 years because they've been ridiculously spoiled. They haven't had to see how the other half lives all that much. But, yeah, so how do you go to a place that their entire athletic identity is wrapped up in football if you're a basketball coach? It's tough. And having a guy like Buzz Williams for as long as they did was pretty impressive. But A&M for basketball coaches continues to be just a stop along the path.
Yeah, no,
and not
they
a
are with all
destination
the
job.
yeah, they are. You're right.